Hey, good afternoon, everyone. If we can find our seats and if we can close the back door, I greatly appreciate it. We're about to get started. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Monday, the 24th day of April in the year 2023. This is a City Council caucus meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 4 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 4:03 p.m. May we have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus? Councilperson Ridley.
Here.
Councilperson Prinzary. Here. Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Here.
Councilperson Solomon.
Here.
Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeGise is not here. Councilperson Rivera. And Council President Waterman.
Here.
Okay, we have 8 council members in attendance at 4:03 p.m. On behalf of Council President Waterman, in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2023, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Thursday, December 15, 2022. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, April 21st, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. to the Municipal Council, Mayor, Business Administrator, Corporation Council, and the local newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify us a total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Council members and Council President, before we move on to the agenda, I just wanted to give a little update. Robert Byrne, our former city clerk, is not well. I would greatly appreciate everyone to keep him in your prayers, and his wife Debbie and his daughter Tina. It means a lot to me. Okay, Council President.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Let's keep Robin in our prayers. Our first director is Director Shea.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council members. The Department of Public Safety has 3 resolutions and 1 first reading ordinance on this council agenda. Okay, our first resolution, 10.6, is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Fisher Telecom for providing maintenance and support services for the Department of Public Safety via phone system without public bidding. This utilizes proprietary hardware and software, which is why it's not a public bid. It's the system we've been using for a while. It's funds in the amount of $46,272.47 are currently available in the budget for this. It's a pretty standard one. It's the same renewal we've done for the last couple of years. One change with the new building, Director Baker said that we probably will be going out for a bid this year, looking for a new local vendor for these services, because I think it's coming out of the proprietary portion. So this will probably be the last time that we bring it as a proprietary non-bid. Okay, item 10.7 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Verizon Business Network Services for the data communications network services. Again, this is under a state contract this time. Everyone knows Verizon. They do all their work under state contract. This is for $1,257,500 with an encumbrance of $100,000. Again, this is the standard. This is what we've been doing each time. One thing, again, Director Baker asked me to update the council and say this is data network for all 48 locations within the Department of Public Safety network. And as we're installing our own fiber, as we're building our fiber networks that support our cameras, we hope to be able to come off of this and use our own fiber to transmit all this communications. But again, that'll be next year or the year after. Third resolution is resolution 23.295. It's agenda item 10.8. It's a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Entrado Life and Safety Solutions for the maintenance renewal for the 911 system under New Jersey State Contract, Department of Public Safety. Again, this is just a maintenance renewal. It's a total contract and is $169,962.50. It's in the operating account. This provides the maintenance renewal for the 911 system. And notes from Director Baker, the present system is old and it's beginning to require repairs and replacements of parts more often. Everyone knows we're building our new call center in the new building, and that should prevent many of these problems when we leave this old legacy stuff behind. Everything that we're dealing with here has been in the system since they built Bishop Street. So we should be able to leave a lot of that behind as we put the new as we put our new systems in. Entrado does do almost all of our communications with the fire department. So when the firefighters, as they're getting on the trucks, are getting the information verbally about what they're going to, that's what the Entrado system gives them. Thank you. And our final, it's a first reading ordinance, ordinance number 23-034. Agenda number 3.1. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Article 11, Department of Public Safety, Subarticle 2, Division of Fire and Emergency Services, to ban the use of open fires and recreational open fire pits. We're asking that the council consider banning open fire pits and open fires. At the bottom, you'll see we would like a kindling, building, maintaining, or using open fires or an open fire pit to be prohibited in the city of Jersey City. Bottom line, we're starting to get complaints from citizens about these open fire pits. One of the council members asked me beforehand, or one of the council aides asked me, do we have any information on fires that were started by them? We wouldn't, because the safest structure is the structure where the pit is, because people are watching it and monitoring it. The problem comes a couple buildings away as the ashes go up in the air, ashes and cinders, and settle somewhere else. We have never been in favor of having them. As we, speaking for the fire department and the fire service, as you know, we don't even like candles. We don't like open flames in general. This mirrors the state and the New York City and what New York does, which has the same type of building environment as us. If anything, ours is a little older. So we've been a little more permissive here in Jersey City. It has never been a problem. We've started to see an uptick in complaints and calls to the fire department about them since about when COVID happened. And that's why we're asking for a prohibition, or for the council to consider a prohibition on banning them.
Director, when you say open fire pits, are you talking about the round cans with the?
Yeah, any wood or burnable, anything non-gas, like the gas ones that people have for outside the heaters, all that stuff, they're fine. But anything with wood or that burns any type of fuel that sends ashes and cinders into the air.
Well, most of the fire pits have a screen across the top. I mean, I think this is, open fire, no. But a fire pit, I mean, I'm not a fireman, but 99% of them don't live here. And I'm sure they all go down the shore and have fires in their backyards and everything. And they're telling the people of Jersey City, this is wrong. If you have the fire pit, the round fire pit, you have a cover on it, and you have a nice backyard, you monitor it.
We again, that direction said we don't consider, and the fire people don't consider that screen on the top to be sufficient safety for the surrounding structures. We're asking that you consider the ban on it. I understand your opinion, sir.
Director, so the regular fire pits that you buy at Home Depot and Lowe's, you're saying those would be banned?
The gas ones?
No, just the regular
anything.
outdoor.
We're asking for a ban on anything where there is an open fire in the city. The city's it's not a conducive environment for it. That's our opinion.
Can you have the fire department tell us if any fires have have occurred in the last 10 years? Because I live here for 50 years. I've never heard of one.
Again, I'll ask, but I don't think we'd know what they did. They just know that it's a hazard, that anything spewing potential hot ashes or cinders into the air is a potential hazard. They think it's an inappropriate thing to have in this environment.
Director, what would be the enforcement of this ordinance should it move forward? Would this be?
It'd go to the Quality of Life Task Force. I mean, the fire department usually gets called when somebody sees either the smoke or the open flame and doesn't understand what it is. Up till now, we've just warned, tried to, tell people how to do it safely. We would now refer it to Quality of Life Task Force to instruct people that it's illegal.
So the only concern that I have is that some people might segue into barbecue pits, right? And there are some barbecue grills that are not propane, and there are some people that actually use wood, right, or charcoal. But let's say for some people that use the wood, and it's an open flame, you make the fire. I'm just concerned that this ordinance will later on segue into that, and just, I don't want them to come back and say, we want to eliminate that as well.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. An open fire or a fire pit does not include in any way barbecues of any kind. Or fire, like an outdoor barbecue fire pit, a fire plate for cooking, as you were describing. I know what you mean, where they put the wood on top of the coals to get the smoke, and all of that. A smoker, which is completely self-contained, or a barbecue would not be included in this.
There's no data on the potential dangers. I know you said because where it's at, the problem is not usually there, but when we do have fires other places, there are fire investigations. Have any of them concluded that it was because of that?
No, this is driven by civilian complaints about fire pits, research into the fire department, like what's the pros, what's the cons, what's the negatives, what's the risks. The professional opinion that the risk outweighs the pros and the cons, the risk of a fire in this environment. So we're asking the consideration of banning them. Ultimately up to you.
Director, question. I know certain times of the year, our Hasidic community does like a bonfire, and the fire department approves it every year. What's going to happen moving forward for religious ceremonies?
We've had approval and disapproval of those. We've also put them out when they've tried to do them in an inappropriate manner.
The ones that are permitted.
Yeah, I think we've gotten better at explaining what's permitted and what's not. Charcoal as opposed to wood, the burning. I know exactly the religious. We always try to work with our religious communities so that they can perform their required worship in a manner that's appropriate. I don't see this, with all the changes we've made and all the work we've done with them to ensure they do it safely, I don't see this impacting that community.
But what would be the difference, I guess?
They would have to work.
Fire pit.
Yeah, they'd have to work with like charcoal and things that do not give the cinders and the ash.
Okay, so no wood, it would have.
Yeah, no wood, that'd be.
Is there a safer method to, having a fire pit, like a smokeless fire pit versus an outright total ban on all fire pits?
I'm not aware of one. I'll check with I'll see if the fire department, they didn't tell me, hey, we wish everybody would buy this one, which doesn't cause a problem, but I'll check and see if there's one that they think would not cause the risk.
Yeah.
They seem to be, and again, I'm well aware that as representing the fire service, that we detest all open flame. I'm well aware of that, and I come with a complete understanding of that. I mentioned before, if we had our way, nobody would own a candle.
Birthday candles on a cake.
Yeah, and all of that thing. But we do think that this should at least be considered.
This affect restaurants?
Pardon me, ma'am?
Will this affect restaurants that deal with fire pits?
Yeah, if it's a restaurant, it has a wood, it would affect anybody who wants to burn outdoors in a wood in a pit, or in a pit or a can or a circle, or any of the things that people are using now. A cut down oil drum, any outdoor fires with wood that generate that kind of ash and cinders would be considered here. Now, I'm not aware of any restaurants doing it. They all use the gas heaters.
Let me ask you something. Could it be like a restriction if the winds are so many miles per hour, you can't burn it? Something like that? Because I understand, the thinking behind it, because if it is windy, fire just flies. But is there some type of like, if the winds are 10 miles per hour, you can't do a fire pit that day? Or I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because I know this
I'll have to talk.
challenging.
I'll have to talk to our
Could you-
fire. I'll have to talk to our new, acting fire.
Yeah.
This started under Chief McGill and he kind of inherited it and moved it along. So I'll just talk to him and see how that might work or if
Right.
it's possible.
If it's possible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, council members.
Dr. Kears.
And before
Who
the
said they
record,
like your bow tie, Director? Everybody's saying they like your bow tie. I better tell you.
I just want to mark Councilperson DeGise present at 4:15 PM. So we have all 9 council members present at 4:15. Thank you.
Good evening, President Waterman, members of the council. I have 6 items before you tonight for consideration. Resolution 23-310, 10.23. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Stewart Stevenson's Power Products LLC as a result of a city solicited bid to perform various repairs to heavy-duty vehicles in the city's fleet. The total amount of this contract is $40,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $5,000. The next is 23-311, 10.24. Resolution will authorize award of a contract to Northeast Auto and Truck Parts through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative to purchase and deliver fluids and lubricants associated with the city's vehicle fleet. Total amount of this contract is $300,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $10,000. Funding is available through a DPW operating account. Third is 23-312, 10.25. This resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Ferguson Enterprises LLC to supply plumbing supplies and sprinkler-related equipment associated with the fire suppression system for the city's de-escalation center pistol range through the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance. Total amount of the contract is $75,000. Funding is available through the DPW operating account. 23-313, 1026. Resolution will authorize the amendment of a previously awarded contract to City Electric under Resolution 22494 in the amount of $58,562, authorizing an increase of $25,000 based on ongoing projects citywide requiring electrical equipment and supplies. 23-314, 10.27. Contract will authorize an emergency contract to Global Equipment Company LLC to provide lockers for East District Police personnel relocated to the new Marin Boulevard as a result of mold conditions at the old East District. Total amount of the contract is $23,214.37.
Greg, what are they doing with 207 7th Street?
I have no idea, Councilman. It's been secured right now. And the last one is 23-315, 10.28. Contract will authorize the city to accept the grant in the amount of $319,944.45 through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection to assist in implementing and enhancing the city's recycling efforts.
I want to ask a question to the BA concerning 1027. Do you know if they're doing any type of checking to see what type of mold is in that structure, because we know that it's closed.
We had a complete report done on it, Councilman, which is available if you'd like to see it.
Okay.
Obviously, the remediation would be somewhere in the area about $300,000, but unfortunately, the building upgrades that's required, including a new roof, brick pointing, windows, and everything else, is in excess of about $1.5 million.
The concern that I had is concerning it with health issues with that mold that's there, concerning that, being that the cops were in there for a while, have they described what type of mold is in there?
No, and it's, as I said, as soon as we received the information on it, we immediately acted, which has resulted in the closure of the building.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Torres.
Evening, Council.
Good evening.
My name is Amadi Torres, Program Manager, Direct Services under Community Development. I have 3 mortgage discharges tonight. First item, 10.20, 115 Clinton Avenue, borrowed $21,878.69. They have met their affordability period of 10 years and are ready for discharge. Next item, 10.21, 162 Delaware Avenue. They borrowed $12,750 and have met their affordability period of 10 years and are ready for discharge. Last item, 10.22, 189 Bidwell Avenue, borrowed $24,177.53. They have met their affordability period of 10 years and are ready for discharge.
Is this the MLK building?
No.
Because there's no 189 Bidwell, unless it's that building that's connected.
A home on Bidwell Avenue. She borrowed to buy under Golden Neighborhood. The first time home buyer program,
At 189?
Bidwell Avenue.
Yeah, it's probably east, is it Eastville?
Block 1319, lot 57.B.
Let's see.
Tax assessors numbers.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
PG, good to see you.
Afternoon, Council President, members of the council, how are you? I'm Gigi Gaston, Division Director for the Division of Affordable Housing and HEDC. We're here today for item number 10.5, a resolution appointing Yesenia Palacios Sanchez as the Municipal Housing Liaison. Jessie joined the Division of Affordable Housing in 2021 as a division clerk, and she was responsible for drafting all of our affordable housing agreements. And then in 2022, March of 22, we promoted her to project manager, where she assumed the duties that are listed out here in the resolution. The resolution is being put forward to you to vote on because it complies with Chapter 188, Section 16, where it states that we need to designate a municipal housing liaison under the municipal code to perform these duties, which are to serve as the municipality's primary point of contact for all inquiries from either the state, affordable housing providers, so your property managers, your developers, your administrative agents who are also property managers and marketing the units, and any interested households that are looking for buildings with open application periods for affordable housing units. She will help implement every building's affirmative marketing plan that has affordable housing units that are municipally mandated, so i.e. our Division of Affordable Housing portfolio. She will supervise any contracting administrative agent that is handling the affordable units for occupancy. She will monitor the status of all of the restricted units and make sure they are in compliance. She'll verify all of the annual reports that are submitted by these developers and property managers. She will coordinate meetings with these property managers to train them appropriately in their marketing duties and their compliance duties. And lastly, she will attend continuing education opportunities to keep herself certified as an affordable housing professional of New Jersey, a certificate that she already has acquired that we've put her through the training. And that is the resolution, and that is why we're here. And we hope that you will help us appoint Yesenia, who goes by Jessie. She's here with me today to continue doing the wonderful job that she's been doing so far. Any questions? Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your
We
time.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. I have one item, 10.1, Resolution 23288, authorizing additional temporary appropriations. So these will be the continuation until we adopt the budget. So the council knows we're going to have a introduced budget at the next council meeting. But we'll need to continue with these resolutions until it's formally adopted. Yeah.
How much of an appropriation?
Total for the temporary budget? I don't have the exact figure. I think it was 330 million so far that we're at, around there.
30 million?
330 total. And the budget we're going to be introducing will be 695 million. So we're only about halfway of what we plan to spend for the year.
Just tear it up, just tear it up.
So council, just a little refresher as it regards to the temporary budget, our debt service, our insurance, health benefits, and our health medical bills are all kind of funded at the beginning. So if you look at debt service, about 70 million, health benefits, about 90 million, and insurance claims, about 30 million. It's about half that number. So if you take half that number, we're in April, the other half went to mostly salaries. We're pretty mindful of that. And we keep operating at a minimum because that's where the council has the most discretion on budget cuts.
What's the acronym PFRS?
PFRS is police and fire pension. So that's
And it started at 0?
well, the payment isn't due until April, so we have to fund it and make the full payment by I think it was April 1st. So we're just reconciling the account now, but it's 2 bills that we get from the state for police and pension. If you want a breakdown, I could give it to you. There's no decision to be made on that. It's just a pension bill that we have to make. Okay, good. Thank you.
I know that we were looking for an update on the budget, so I just made sure the finance team was here.
Good afternoon, Council President and City Council. I have 2 items on the agenda tonight for HHS Food and Nutrition. Item 1, Resolution 23298, Agenda Number 10.11, a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with Boyd McGuinness, permitting the City of Jersey City to use the facility to host the Senior Citizen Congregate Lunch Program. This is an update to a previous MOU. Any questions? Okay.
So it's an update to a previous MOU.
Yeah, a previous agreement that we had
What's the-
years ago. It's basically an agreement for what the site as well as HHS, their responsibilities on site. So we updated it for our packaging now. It used to be bulk service, so now it's individual serving components, and most of the other stuff is identical. So
Thank you.
item number 2, Resolution 23300, Agenda Number 10.13. This is a resolution of the City of Jersey City's Municipal Council authorizing the submission of an application to enroll in the New Jersey Department of Agriculture's Child and Adult Care Food Program, the CACFP.
I see there's a missing whereas clause. Is that a error or it's like, doesn't even finish the sentence?
There's none.
Didn't do this one.
Am I wrong? I don't know.
There's a whereas, yeah, I don't know, but it's a possible error.
Inside the actual resolution. That could get fixed before the meeting.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that fixed tomorrow.
Thank you.
Whatever the change is, Mr. Cohen, it's Sean. Just email it to me and I'll make sure it gets fixed and I'll republish the agenda.
Absolutely. And just to give some background on the program, for anybody that's not familiar, it's a federal program that provides reimbursements for nutrition, meals, and snacks to eligible children and adults, child care centers, daycare homes, and adult care centers, as well as reimbursements for meals served to children and youth participating in after-school care programs.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council President.
Good evening.
I have one item. That is agenda number 10.16, resolution number 23-303. It is a resolution authorizing the execution of an MOU or memorandum of understanding with the Mission Continues, allowing it to partner with our Division of Veterans Affairs to clean up Pershing Field Park. This event will take place on May 6th. It is just one day, creating this partnership with this organization, which could lead into a future partnership of bringing a platoon to Jersey City that are consist mainly of veterans who are doing community service work. Any questions? Thank you. Have a beautiful evening.
Ano,
Yeah, I had a question. Sorry, I'm sorry. I see I'm sorry, I was gonna ask. I'm so sorry. No, I was reading through it and I'm like, okay, there's like a laundry list of things that the Mission Continues is gonna do. And you're telling me the MOU is only for one day. Is that all gonna get accomplished that day? Cause like painting the community center, planting these trees, all these things. I'm like, I mean, maybe you guys are superheroes.
We are.
Yeah.
We're veterans.
So,
Come on.
so it will get done in that day?
It will all get done that day. So what we're doing is Recreation and Director Lucinda McLaughlin is partnering with us to do a pre-work day of digging up the soil on the east side of the pool closest to Summit Avenue. They're going to dig up and prep the soil for us, but we're going in, we're gardening. We're doing a garden project in one area. We're painting for the mural in the community center, and we are planting 2 trees in memoriam of those who have passed. One for our veterans from the most recent wars, and one for the gentleman Dave that worked heavily with Pershing Field, Friends of Pershing Field. So it will all be done in one day. If it's not, I'll go back daily and finish what needs to be completed, but it will be done. And this is in preparation for our May 20th event.
Got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
If it's not done, he lives across the street from the park. He
Just volunteered me.
I got it. I'll get it. Thank you, everyone.
I was like, just knock on his door.
Good afternoon, Council President and council members. I have one item in front of you today. First is item number 1034, Resolution 23-321. It's a resolution providing local support at a boutique by Greenhouse LLC to operate a Class 5 retail cannabis business. Canna Boutique will be located at 125 Christopher Columbus Drive. They're a micro business. They qualify as a social equity business. They're diversity owned. It's a woman and a minority. It's a Jersey City resident. The application was approved by the CCB on September 12th of 2022 and the planning board on March 14th. They have 3 MOUs in place, one with Scores Reentry, one with the Minority Cannabis Academy, and the last with the Anti-Violence Coalition of Hudson County.
No more cannabis. Oh, after the 12th, right? Oh.
15th.
any questions on this one? Now, I see on 10.36. That's a late item. Somebody explain.
Yes, Council President, I can address that one. So this is a matter that pursuant to an order of the Superior Court, we are obligated to place this on the agenda for council consideration for the April 26th meeting. Because of some ongoing legal issues there's not a whole lot else I can say in a public forum. However, I'm happy to address this with the council offline. But anyway, and I'll distribute the copy of the court order as well. But this is something that, again, we are obligated by an order of the court to place on the agenda for consideration.
there a time limit that the court put in place for us to hear it?
It says on or no later than the April 26th council meeting.
Are we cutting it close? Okay.
PCB board.
I'm very sorry, Council
I
President.
thought that they had to be placed back on the CCB board for, you know, whatever.
Yes, and that was
Because
part
they
of,
never made it here. So, and when they went to the court,
I could say
what
that,
the court said that they had to go back to the CCB board.
and I would say, Council President, that is part of the ongoing issues here that we are having that, again, I'm happy to address offline because they are still subject to some ongoing court proceedings.
Okay. Make sure, because I don't want us to get in the battle of this. That's why I'm asking.
And I understood completely.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer?
Afternoon, Council President, council members.
Good afternoon.
I'm here to present two ordinances. The first one is agenda number 3.4, ordinance 2337. This ordinance is in coordination with Councilman Bogiano to add Front Street to zone 2, resident parking zone, and also to extend the east limit of Academy Street from Baldwin Avenue to Gray Street.
Questions?
Okay, the second one is agenda number 3.5, ordinance 2338. And this ordinance is to designate the reserved parking spaces for the disabled at various locations. And these locations were approved by the committee on March 7th. All good?
Oh, Jennifer, when's our next meeting?
Sorry?
When's our next meeting?
Oh, our next meeting is, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but I think it's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Lucinda?
Good evening, Council President, Council
evening.
members. Lucinda McLaughlin, Director of the Department of Recreation and Youth Development, here with 5 items for you today. The first is Resolution 23-302, Agenda Item 10.15. This is a claims resolution to pay outstanding monies due to Jean's Landscaping, which was the outside vendor responsible for assisting parks with the maintenance of 3 large parks on a 3-year term that ended in October of last year. While the public bid was out for us to line up another vendor, we had to extend this relationship for 2 more months. And this is us making good on that extra work and paying the vendor for their services that have been provided. There is a affidavit in here by the vendor signing off that this would satisfy all payments due to the vendor, and this would close out that relationship.
Lucinda, so wait, the service was rendered between 2020 and October 31st of 21.
Correct, Councilman.
So they got paid for that period, but in the meantime, we were looking for a vendor. So it's from October to whenever that new vendor came in.
So the original term was November 2020 to the end of October 2021. The original contract allowed 2 additional re-ups of that contract. So it turned into a 3-year contract term, Councilman, which then would have come to conclusion on October 31st, excuse me. At first it was 2020, so that would have ended in October 31st of 2023. But November of 2023 and December of 23, we continued the services with this vendor while we lined up the new vendor. Sorry, there's a lot of specifics in the dates. Thank you for asking that. Okay, next is agenda item 10.17, resolution 23-304, which is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to a vendor called Mason Water Slides, who will be custom building a new water slide for our Lafayette pool, which is very exciting. We are going to be able to recoup these dollars through the Division of Community Development because this park and this pool are located in a low to moderate income area. So that's very exciting to be able to improve something outside of our budget dollars. This is a long time coming and going to be a great addition, a great replacement for an outdated item that is at Lafayette Pool that is no longer safe for use. Next,
Is this just for children? Is this a children-only water
the
slide?
children's only water slide, much to the chagrin of many of our staff members, as already shared. This is a water slide that will be in the kiddie side pool where the maximum level is 4 foot. So there is a height and weight restriction for those who are able to utilize the slide.
Got it. Thank you.
Yo for you.
All right, next up is agenda item 10.18, resolution 23-305, which is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to a company called Todd Harris, which does sound like a person, but is a company, so they can perform opening and closing services at our outdoor pools to get ready for this summer season. That is an amount of $29,750 and coming out of our general operating account. Questions? Next is resolution 23-306, agenda item 10.19. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to a company called Mainline Commercial Pools, whom we will be purchasing bulk chlorine delivery from them for all 3 of our pools. And that's what it is. We can't operate the pool without these chemicals. The prices have raised significantly. We are conscious of that, and we have been amending our budget to identify the rising costs, make sure we are still providing, obviously, a safe environment at the pools for all of our patrons.
Lucinda, is everything on board to go at Berry Lane with the splash pads there?
The splash pad opening and closing actually is part and parcel of that same award there. Councilman, as you have experienced over the past couple of years, the design of the splash pad at Berry Lane is a mess. And it's just, it breaks all the time. When I came on board and I started overseeing those challenges, we did check if there was any warranties still outstanding with the original either installer or manufacturer. There wasn't. So although I'd love to tell you that everything is all set with the splash pad at Berry Lane and we're going to have an uneventful summer, I would just tell you that based on the operations of that splash pad in the past, it's unlikely to be the case yet again this summer. The filters are just designed in a weird way. Anytime a leaf falls in the system, the whole thing backs up. So unfortunately, I anticipate another summer where we spend an increased amount of attention to the splash pad at Berry Lane. We check on it 7 days a week. We have vendors coming out and checking on the operations. And I have one of my employees literally stop by every day and just make sure things are working. So we will do our level best to make sure there is a water feature available each day at Berry Lane, whether or not the splash pad is operating. Okay, next is resolution 23-3. Oh, excuse me, I already talked about that one. That's the bulk chlorine. So I should be moving on to my last item, which is an ordinance introduction for a first reading. And this is an ordinance to amend Chapter 160, which is fees and charges relative to our pools. This is an important one, council members, because we are talking here about extending the pool fees that already exist at our Pershing pool to both of our outdoor pools as well when they are in operation, and as well to amend the way that memberships exist at Pershing pool specifically. We have not traditionally have fees at either Pavonia Pool or Lafayette Pool, which are open in the summer, and our own ordinances did permit those pools to be run for free for our residents. Unfortunately, the reality is that we as a city have utilized Green Acres funding to support all 3 of the parks that our pools are in, Lafayette, Pavonia, and Pershing. And the only way we can continue to operate for free for residents at our 2 outdoor pools is if we decide as a city to operate for free for anyone who wants to utilize those pools. Because of Green Acres fundings, we are not allowed to charge one thing to out-of-town residents. And, well, excuse me, we are allowed to charge one rate for out-of-town and one rate for in-town. But if the in-town rate is 0, 2 times 0 is 0. And you're not allowed to charge out-of-town residents any more than 2 times what you're charging an in-town resident. So if it is our intention to continue to offer aquatic services for free at Lafayette Pool and Pavonia Pool, then we need to understand as a city that we are providing $1.4 million of staff services that it takes to operate and safely maintain and to safely operate our pools. My budget before you guys, I believe, is $1.43 million just for aquatic staffing. So it is my submission that it would be the most responsible movement for us as a city and as a department at this time to move those nominal fees that are already in place at Pershing and to extend them over as they already exist with no increase in the existing numbers to our 2 outdoor pools to be realistic about what we are providing and how much it costs our constituents.
But this is just to maintain the status quo, to make it financially sustainable, essentially.
Essentially, yes, Councilman. I mean, again, we're asking the fees that will be here will really be a small drop in the bucket. But what we are talking about when we talk about our pools is an exclusive use item, right? Because we have a maximum capacity each pool. And when one person comes in, that probably means one person cannot if we're at capacity, right? And the importance of aquatics cannot be understated, right? Can't be overstated, I guess. We want to have aquatics available in Jersey City to our residents. We just cannot have it available only to our residents the way that Green Acres funding has been utilized.
Lucinda, since we're talking about fees, I was under the impression that the summer camp will be free for low to moderate income, but I see is $150. So my question is, what do we do with family members when there's more than one family member in that low to moderate income bracket?
Councilman, the low to moderate income rate per week is $75 for camp. There's been some, I think, misreading by people who maybe weren't looking closely enough at the flyers, which is why I think you're probably looking at a new flyer where I said, let's make this as straight as possible, right? It's $150 a week, no matter who you are, and it's $75 a week if your family qualifies as low to moderate income. So we do not this year have any discount beyond that $75 rate for low to moderate income. But I have spoken with Council President at length, and as well for any family that the $75 a week still is cost prohibitive. I would ask that family to reach out to me as the director, and we're going to find ways to find sponsorships and find some support so that that's not a barrier.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of 4 family siblings that's all in that same age bracket right there.
Yep.
And they're losing their mind up on Stegman right now.
I am aware of that, Councilman. Again, you know, it is my responsibility to do a few different things, but my responsibility as a director is to make sure that we are sustainable and that what we're doing today, we're going to be able to do tomorrow. And unfortunately, the model of everything being free from a recreational perspective, it is not sustainable. And I know we're all being asked to make some tough decisions financially across the city. I do not take lightly what I am saying in front of you and the requests that I will be making, right, that we will be making of the constituents to help contribute to the continuation of services that everybody enjoys.
So then, Director, as with summer camps, can the same be said for the resident fees for these same families? Because if they can't send their kids to camp, now they're not going to be able to utilize the pool for 6 months. And I understand having to from the operational point, but it just you're really limiting. And I don't need to tell you this, I know you know, but you were really limiting parent and guardian options for our kids. So I would hope that the answer there is yes.
Well, it's harder from a price point perspective when like a summer employee is at a cashier's desk for that cashier to make a determination if somebody qualifies as low to moderate income or if they don't for an entry fee at a door. So unfortunately, I don't want to make up an answer for you. I want to tell you the truthful answer, which is the bandwidth is really not there for somebody at a door to decide, are you low to moderate income or are you not? Which is why we are looking at these existing fees, and I'm not asking to increase them. I'm asking them to stay low, right? To stay at $2, to stay at $3, to stay at $1.
No, I'm looking at more for like the 6-month fee.
Well, Councilwoman, these fees are, in terms of aquatics, are really as low as they go. And we have really, aside from actually giving away all the services at the outdoor pools that have not required any contribution financially, the member rates at Pershing have not been visited for like 10, 15 years. And they are not with the times when it comes to the going rate for swimming. That being said, the going rate for swimming is still about 3 times what we have put on here for a 6-month membership rate. But in consultation with the mayor and with other members of the administration, we want to make sure that, again, it doesn't feel prohibitive, which is why we are leaving smaller amounts, but from a 6-month perspective, maintaining a $75 for a 6-month membership for a senior, maintaining a $75 6-month membership for a child, because it, again, we thought long and hard about it, and there was some suggestion that we should go with like $650, which, from what I've been told in the aquatic world, is not crazy, but it sounded a little crazy to me. And we've certainly looked long and hard at all these numbers. Again, I do not come before you lightly asking that we seek contribution from our residents who want to take advantage of these services. The out-of-town option here as well does provide some families flexibility who may have an out-of-town, parent or family member who may come and assist in the summer. Now that person will be able to access our pools with those younger people, which was a prohibition before. There was no way for anybody not from Jersey City to enter our pools before.
Lucinda?
Yes, Councilman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Lucinda, what's going on with the ice skating ring?
A lot is going on with the ice skating rink, but mostly we're waiting for one more one more opinion as to what it will might cost to move forward with the equipment and the walls. And then once we have that, we can then put it out to bid because we will have an actual semblance of cost.
Lucinda, this is going on 6 months or more. I mean, this should have been settled, and it's hurting a lot of the high schools and schools, and this is wrong. That should have been priority.
It is a priority, Councilman, and we've already secured, I think we're up about $2 million in secured funding to make sure that we can make the repairs and the upgrades to the site. But without knowing what that entails, it's hard to put it out for a public bid. So what the work we're doing right now is necessary to put that public bid out on a rapid build priority, knowing the timeline for the ice rink.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director, before you go, I know what we spoke about sponsors. Now, I don't know if she left. I don't see Agnes here today, because the only reason why I'm asking, because I know when it comes to sponsorship, is there any way, but you wouldn't notice because Agnes is not here, that probably some of grant money can go to sponsorship for some of these children with this, with these parents that have this financial challenge. I mean, is there a category that we could find to put it under there?
So, Council President, I don't know that this summer that we would have the mechanism within Division of Community Development for that direct services. But what I can tell you is by making the determination as a department to have a low to moderate income rate versus a non-low to moderate income rate, we have already made that priority number one, right? And what we are doing when individuals self-certify themselves as low to moderate income, we're keeping all that information. And so should community development have, for any reason, spend dollars at the end of the year, we will be able to at least make an application. So not that we'd be giving the money back to those families, but we may have an opportunity as a city where we are subsidizing more than 70% of the cost for low to moderate income family. We may have an opportunity as a city to bring back in some of those $75 per person that we are eating as a city because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
So I don't believe there's a mechanism to pay that money back to a family. I'm certainly
but it can go back to the city. That's what I think more so, because even when we deal with this certain grants for crime prevention, I'm just saying, it's how you put it in the category. Because if children are active, then that is preventing them from getting into mischief, so to say. So I'm saying, because I know we have to deal with, like I said, the crime prevention grant and all of that, that seemed like can go towards recreation in some ways, just how you word it. That's why I asked, and I don't see Gladys here. So
Council President, I will check with both of them. I have certainly been in many detailed discussions with DCD regarding some monies that we're using for park improvements that, are not the priority, if you will, of infrastructure and have been outside the financial means of parks for quite some time. But we're in a really sweet spot right now where I will be back at the next meeting with a bunch of projects as well that I'm very excited to share with you that we're improving on non-budget dollars, right? It's really a very exciting time. I'm perfectly happy to continue reaching out and finding out how else we can supplement our budget to continue, offering great programs and services without barriers to our community members.
Is there any way we can do like a, I guess a family rate?
Councilman, we've thought, we've entertained everything you could possibly think of, right? And then we have to think about what's feasible and what's feasible for our staff to do standing there and what's not. So there's lots of ways we could try to do things, but from a management perspective, what has worked for however many years that the fees have been in place at Pershing Pool and Pershing Rink is this is the entrance fee. If you live in Jersey City, this is the entrance fee. If you don't live in Jersey City, this is the entrance fee. And that's what it's always been.
I'm talking about for the camps. Because the staff, if it's, let's say the capacity is 100, the staff is going to be getting paid whether one kid show up or 100 kids show up. So that's what I'm saying. So for the summer camp, I'm trying to see if there's a mechanism, if we can have a low to moderate family, like a family rate for all of them. Like there may be, I don't know, a mother who's on public assistance, she had 5 kids, an instant like that. So we would say, all right, the rate for that family is $200 or whatever, something like that.
So Councilman, I think I think we should need to get through this season, right? And see really what the rollout is. Like last year, we had a fee for the stages that people wanted to utilize from the city. And everyone, I'm sure each of you had to call me on behalf of a constituent and say, but Lucinda, can't you waive that fee, right? And ultimately, we didn't collect any more than like $9,000. But think about how much time and energy we all had to expend to, bemoan a $20 fee for an hour for a stage. So ultimately, it's year 2 and people are not that upset anymore about that. So let's get through season 1. And then I'm perfectly happy, Councilman, to sit down and think about better ways to continue to implement this while being responsible for the longevity of our programs, our department, and our city finances.
You're saying that why all of a sudden is there a crisis and we're charging kids and everything? What happened?
Councilman, I've been here 3 years, and for 3 years, I've been speaking to the administration about the trends in Parks and Recreation and asking that we look into and start implementing reasonable fees for our services because it wasn't sustainable how we've been operating. COVID happened 6 months after I started my directorship here. Then the year 2 of COVID, right, was still there. And now here we are. So this is something that has been a conversation point for several years. And I am now in front of you speaking about it.
Yeah, well, with the taxes are going up, and there seems to be no money for anything. It's wrong.
I think that's why we got to look at the grants, how we allocate our grants. And I think that's a conversation that we can definitely look at because we do get grant money and it's just how we allocate them under what vision or what title.
Exactly, Council President. There are a lot of grant dollars and they're used in different ways across the city. Most of them are decisions are made without any input from Parks and Recreation.
They are, but we need to get the input in now because every department is falling short somewhere. So we have to utilize our grants for ourselves too, so we can keep furnishing the programs that's necessary for the residents of the city.
And Director, it's not specific to you. I mean, this has been going on for 25 plus years that I've been engaged with recreation. But I think what the Council President is saying is correct. Utilizing the grants, at least there's like a structured base that we could like move forward on with.
It can be. We just got to look different. Instead of looking out, let's start looking in.
I agree. And actually, if I don't want to like throw a needle in here, but I do think it's important to say that in a tool that is available to us as a city and to you as council members specifically is to look at something called dedication by rider, where we could contemplate these fees. If and when approved, we could contemplate those fees specific to the continuation of services at the school, specific to the continuation of programming services. So when those dollars come in, they can be fed right in to the operating expenses that we already have going on. So I won't have to come in front of you every year and say, hey, I need more money for lifeguards because the minimum wage has gone up. And that means it goes up one more dollar for lifeguards and one more dollar for supervisors, right? So I would be very interested in looking at the reality of a dedication by rider for these fees. And I think it would go a long way towards our public so they understood that these the fees that we're asking for are specific to what we're doing and will allow us to continue to do them.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead.
Director, do you know the last time that fees were increased?
I don't. I mean, I have my pool director, my division director, I think has been working here for, I don't know, 18, 20 years, and she's never seen a fee increase while she's been here.
Yeah. And I can understand that people are going to be shocked by any type of increase, but just the fact that it's 1.4 million to operate one of the three pools. This is in lieu of raising tax dollars to make sure that employees are paid a good rate, that lifeguards receive the training that they deserve and that our constituents deserve too, and also for the upkeep for these facilities as well. Because I know we get a lot of complaints when locker rooms aren't operating well, when there's garbage, when people aren't cleaning up after themselves, and people complain throughout the summer, whether it's through a summer camp or an individual family.
Totally true, Councilwoman. And just for a correction, the 1.43 budget for my staff is for the operation of all of our pools throughout the year, but that only is staff. So when I'm in here, like today, we have the openings and closings, which is an operational cost, not staff. The chemicals, those are costs outside of the $1.43 million that it costs from a staffing perspective to make sure that we are properly staffed and have safe pools.
Absolutely. And looking at the other towns, looks like Bayonne, Caucus, Hoboken all have user fees as well, and they're more expensive than what you've proposed.
They are. I've yet to find a town that has lesser fees than what we are proposing. And I would just sort of point out to everybody that if you didn't realize in the news last year, I believe it was West New York that had a pool that had used Green Acres funding and then did not have it open for non-residents, and it was a really big mess. And I don't want to go down that same road with us as a city. I want to continue to, provide great services, and I want to make sure that we are sustainable.
Can you just add to that too? Because we talked about grant money. If we accept grant money for any recreational programs and we don't charge anything to residents, we're not able to charge through the grants either. So there has to be a fee schedule in order for us to do that.
It depends what kind of grant is used. For Green Acres funding specifically, Green Acres has, I could pull the actual statute if it's helpful, but there are 3 areas of the Green Acres funding rules within the Department of Environmental Protection that speak to access that's required to be provided to the public when lands receive Green Acres fundings, any costs that have to be utilized there, and any fees that you're allowed to charge. So they are very specific. And if we are in violation of the Green Acres rules at one site, that puts in jeopardy our use of Green Acres funds across the entire city. For older projects, new projects, we have a lot of projects that are moving across the city that are wholly reliant upon Green Acres monies. And I can't change what received Green Acres monies and what didn't receive Green Acres monies, but what I can change is, or what I can affect is our compliance with those rules and make sure that, our aquatic section is not the one in the news because we're violating any state laws and putting anything else across the city in jeopardy.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Council President.
John McKinney.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
So the first one I'm here to speak about is 3.2. This is an easement to Kingsland Development Urban Renewal LLC, affecting property owned by the city in the township of Lyndhurst. There's essentially a state revitalization program happening over there, if I'm not mistaken. This is a warehouse project that's connected to it, and they need to attach some water and sewer lines to the buildings that they're going to do, which runs over our water line. So the easement would grant them rights to build over our existing water line, and they'd have to maintain the pipes and the public walkway that's there.
$10 or 10,000?
$10.
$10? I have 10,000 in here too.
That's a joke.
Okay.
Keith.
$8.
Keith.
Are they gonna have
$8?
proper protections in place so as to not interfere or disturb or damage the Jersey City water line?
Yes.
Will we have people from our city engineers overseeing that, or is there?
It's part of the agreement.
Got
Yes.
it. Okay. Thank you. And will they repair it if they do damage it?
Absolutely. There'd be a lawsuit if they didn't.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. The next one is item 10.35, resolution 23-322. This was an item that got withdrawn back in March, I believe. It's allowing for the discharge of a mortgage and declaration of covenants made to Statue of Liberty Harbor North Redevelopment Urban Renewal, LLC, which is the Trams Hotel deal. This was withdrawn because the JCRA hadn't formally entered into a settlement agreement with them yet, but that apparently has happened. So in order for a closing to occur, this mortgage needs to be discharged in order there to be clean title.
What the terms of the mortgage though?
So there was a HUD Section 108 loan on this, which has restrictions when it comes to low income. Because it was a hotel and no one could move in, there was restrictions put on it that the employment would have to be low income people, so 80% AMI or lower. The developer, when this fell apart, the mortgage has been completely repaid, the HUD Section 108 loan. The JCRA was then involved with a settlement agreement with them, and I believe discussions with the new buyer as to what the new purpose of this property would be, because I don't believe it's going to be a hotel anymore. But in order for the closing to move forward, the old mortgage and declaration of covenants that reference the restrictions from the HUD 108 loan, that needs to be removed.
Oh, wait, so did the money, they never got the money or was it repaid?
They paid it back.
Even without the development of they gave whatever the amount was, they just gave it back.
Right, because they never built it, so the money got repaid. Thank you.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Council President and the Council. I'm here for Resolution 23-299, a resolution of the City of Jersey City Municipal Council authorizing the submission of an application for the New Jersey Department of Health Special Program to increase immunization levels grant for the program year of 2023. With an award from the New Jersey State Department of Health, we plan to educate our WIC parents about the importance of vaccination of their children and against preventable diseases. We will use funding to support the salary of one of our nurses who will provide vaccines to the targeted audience. We will also use funding to acquire a communication system that will allow us to send mass communications and notification to parents. This software will allow our department to share individual appointment reminders via phone notification, send disaster notifications, including events like communicable disease outbreaks, and communicate internally with our staff. Lastly, the funding will be used to access the New Jersey Immunization Information System, which will allow us to view and update the immunization registry. The salary plus benefits for one nurse will be $80,000. Emergency technology communication software will be $50,000. Travel and mileage reimbursements for within the city, $10,000. And supplies, including marketing and promotional material and disposal medical items to support vaccine distribution, $10,000. I thank you for your time and consideration for the request for funding.
Questions?
The salary, wait, we have a nurse already and then so the 80,000, so wait, do we have a nurse already over there that's already on a regular salary or we're bringing someone in?
We're bringing someone in.
It is.
They're going through the HR process as we speak.
Can you update the resolution because it's incomplete? It only has whereas and then a bunch of ellipses and
Right.
it's not,
I don't know if it's the system, something is going on with those resolutions. I don't know. Because it's like blank, 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 and I know they didn't submit them blank. I don't know, it could be something in the system, but they'll check it out, make sure, Inez, check it out to make sure it's uploaded correctly. The resolution.
10, 12.
You uploaded? Did you upload the resolution, Inez, or somebody else did?
Someone else did.
Okay. Check with, I don't know, check with
Bliss.
Stacy to see exactly who uploaded it, because that could be the problem.
Okay, yes.
Okay, because
ma'am.
we don't check the uploads.
Whoever uploaded it from your division, Inez, it's Sean. If whoever uploaded it from your division, if you can just have them communicate with me, the complete resolution, maybe in the Word document, and I can make sure that the resolution is completely uploaded into iCompass.
Mr. Gallagher, I will make sure they do so.
Inez, I have a question. Inez, so currently you have a nurse, correct? That is that a clinician nurse or is that a field nurse? What is it that we're trying to hire? Is it a nurse to administer these vaccines or an educational nurse?
Well, they would definitely be a part of an outreach program, getting them in, but also they will be in the clinic where we would do the vaccinations. So we will use our nurse to the best outreach and in-reach.
So then that will be two nurses.
No, just one nurse.
No, but you have one nurse already, correct?
We have a staff nurse. This would be a new nurse coming on to do vaccine preventable program, and it would be outreach and working in the clinic when they come in for the vaccinations. We wouldn't do vaccinations out in the field.
Okay,
At this
so then
time.
you're gonna have one person, you're gonna have one nurse doing that field work. And what I mean by field work is, all of the vaccines and stuff like that. Then you have a nurse that is in as a clinician, correct?
Yes, we have a regular staff nurse in disease prevention. This secondary nurse, which is on a grant, would be doing outreach, education, and also doing the vaccines in the clinic.
Okay, so what is the nurse that's in the nurse that's in the office? What is she doing?
She also does immunizations,
Okay.
but she also does the STI
Okay,
treatment.
got it. I just wanted to get,
Yes, and she doesn't go in the field.
right, that's where I was trying to gauge at. You have one that's in-house and one that's going into, okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other
Thanks, Susan.
questions? All right, thank you very much.
I think it's Cabruno.
Madam Council President, council
Hello.
members. I'm here to talk about agenda number 2.0, resolution 23-289. This is a resolution authorizing the renewal of a competitively bid contract between the City of Jersey City and Gandu, Dora, and Tompkins LLC for the accounting and auditing services for a period of 1 year, June 25th, 2023 through June 24th, 2024.
Did they send it manually? I know we got it electronically.
Annually, I'm sorry?
Did we, did they
Hard
send it
copy.
hard copy, yeah.
Yes. Well,
Anybody receive hard copy? No, I didn't receive hard copy. I know I received it.
You guys, so the council didn't receive hard copies of the audit in
No.
their mailboxes?
No, we didn't. I know the email said we was going to. No, we didn't. That's why I'm asking. Is it gonna come? I know-
Carmen is here too.
I looked under the chair and everything.
That was submitted was by our comptroller who just recently left. So
Uh-huh.
Ergo is our chief accountant, acting
Uh-huh.
director in the position. But the 2021 audit was just recently submitted and closed in February.
Yeah.
For review. We've submitted to Sean so that you guys can receive your copy of the 2021 audit. This item here tonight is an item to start the process ahead of time, right? For the last year's audit of 2022.
Yeah, I just want to know, did we see, will we receive a hard copy? That's all.
I'm trying to save trees, not yet, but we can email it to you. It's
Okay. No, we have it emailed. We
I-
have it. No, he
I
did
sent
that.
them, I sent.
Normally we receive a hard copy too. That's all. I just asked. That's all.
Oh, I think I said only one copy for this year and everything digital. Unless you want your hard copy, I was literally trying to save money on cost on paper.
No. We just, normally we do. So when something changed, we just asking is.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Just a question. We get before Wednesday, just an estimate from the auditor on when they think they'll be able to complete the 2022 audit. I know it was quicker this year than last year, but we want obviously to continue that and have it as early as possible.
Yeah, nope, I already asked, last month, he was waiting for this item to be on so that we can have an engagement and then go through a different engagement process, but the expectations is that it's done much sooner this year than prior.
Okay, that'd be great. I mean, if he can give us his estimated date, just so we
Absolutely.
have that, if it's January, December,
September.
yes, it'd be perfect. Thank you.
So Carmen, just going forward, we're gonna receive the audit. I'll receive one hard copy and then electronic copies I'll distribute to the council.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Sean, you could take it from the top.
Okay, council members, so we covered first reading ordinances 3.1 to 3.5. So the only first reading ordinance that was not covered is item 3.6, City Ordinance 23-039 is an ordinance designated newly constructed municipal buildings 1, 2, 3, and 4 Jackson Square. And we have our second reading ordinance, item 4.1, City Ordinance 23-031 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 242, Peace and Good Order, Article 6, roller skates, inline skates, skateboards, bicycles, electronic scooters, dirt bikes, and all-terrain vehicles. Item 4.2, City Ordinance 23-032 is a franchise ordinance granting permission to Overlook LLC, accesses and assigns to make private improvements within the public right-of-way of Washburn Street and the public right-of-way of Oakland Avenue adjacent to Lot 1.01, Block 8203 on the official tax map of the City of Jersey City to install and maintain heated sidewalks. And last item 4.3, City Ordinance 23-033 is an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City accepting the dedication of certain roadways, sidewalks, utilities located in the Van Kuren redevelopment area that are necessary for the realignment of Van Kuren Avenue. Next, we have our public speakers. We have 15 currently, and any questions or comments on petitions and communications, item 6.1 through 6.29. Next, we have our office communications, items 7.1 and 7.2. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Our reported directors, 8.1. Any questions or comments? And we have our claims and on to our resolutions. Items 10.1 through 10.2 were touched on earlier. 10.3, City Resolution 23-290 is a resolution recognizing Elder Dana Royster, New Jersey President Biden Lifetime Achievement Award honoree. And item 10.4, Resolution 23-291 is a resolution recognizing Anne Marie Thomas on celebrating her 90th birthday. God bless. Moving on, items 10.5 through 10.8 were touched on earlier. Item 10.9, City Resolution 23-296 is a resolution introducing and approving the 2023-2024 budget of the Central Avenue Special Improvement District, directing the city clerk to publicly advertise the budget and schedule the public hearing, and directing the tax assessor to prepare an assessment roll of properties within the district based upon the budget. Item 10.10, Resolution 23-297. This is one of my resolutions, another one of my resolutions, a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the award of a contract to Hudson Community Enterprises to digitize the minute books of the Board of Aldermen from 1861 to until 1913. So,
Dawn, what are they gonna do with the old records? Throw them in the garbage?
no. So the idea is the minute books that we're referring to are the books that are actually located directly in my office. They're in glass. We plan to maintain them. They're going to come back to us. They're going to, unbind them, but they're going to come back to us the way we gave it to them, and then we'll have them stored back in my office. The other minute books, once we do the second phase of the contract, they'll be unbounded and also returned to us, but they'll wind up going to the record center for permanent storage. But we'll have them digitized and eventually placed on our website, so people will be able to do some research right through our website.
Yeah, because they're the history of Jersey City. It'd be a shame to throw them out.
That is not our intention, Councilman.
Burn them in the fire pit.
That is not our intention. Oh, rough council today, rough council. Tell me how you really feel. Okay, so
I didn't do that.
items 10.11 through 10.13 were touched on earlier. Item 10.14, Resolution 23-301 is a resolution accepting the Hudson Regional Health Commission's 2023 assessment to the City of Jersey City to provide a broad range of environmental health services pursuant to the County Environmental Health Act. Items 10.15 through 10.28 were touched on earlier. Item 10.29, Resolution 23-316 is a resolution rejecting the sole bid received by the City of Jersey City on March 28, 2023 for a contract known as 394 Central Avenue Senior Center HVAC Improvements, project number 2021-039.
Council, just a quick update on that. The sole bid that came in was over budget. Don't want to discuss the number because we're going to rebid it. This has two components. It has a kitchen area for the senior programming as well as HVAC throughout this building. So we're going to separate the two because we feel the price might have been high because of the conjunction of the two services. So we're going to split them out and send them out to bid again. It only delays us about 2 weeks, so it's not a major issue.
Thank you. Okay, item 10.30, Resolution 23-317 is a resolution renewing professional service agreement with the law firm Renon, Coughlin, and Michello LLC to represent the City of Jersey City in various arbitrations. Item 10.31, Resolution 23-318, I believe, Corporation Counsel, that we're going to be withdrawing this item.
That's correct. That matter has been resolved, so that will be coming off the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, next, item 10.32, Resolution 23-319 is a resolution ratifying the renewal of professional service agreement with the law firm of Florio, Kenny and Raval LLP to serve as special counsel to represent the City of Jersey City in tax appeals. And item 10.33, Resolution 23-320 is a resolution authorizing a closed session of the Municipal Council on Monday, May 1st, 2023 at 3 p.m. to discuss pending matters within attorney-client privilege related to various litigation and other matters covered by attorney-client privilege. And items 10.34 and 10 through 10.36 were touched on earlier, so may I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
At 5:26 p.m. Motion made by Councilperson Saleh. May I have a second? Second by Councilperson Ridley. On the motion to adjourn at 5:26 p.m., all council members present by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
We are out of here at 5:26 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone present and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Everyone stay safe. Have a great night.